Hello and welcome to this special edition of To The Point. Today we have with us a man who wears many hats, Mr. P L Punia. He is the chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Castes. He is also a member of parliament from Barabanki constituency in Uttar Pradesh, and he has also been a former bureaucrat. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We will straight away move to the topic which has been very keenly discussed nowadays. The issue of reservation in promotions for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. You yourself has raised this issue in parliament a number of times. In 1995, all of us know that in 1995 an arrangement was made through constitutional amendment that this reservation in promotion be given to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. But my question to you, sir, is can you explain to us as to why was this necessary at that point in time in 1995 and why is it necessary now?
You see, there was no representation of scheduled caste in government jobs, and it was a deliberate decision taken by the constitution makers and the government of that time to ensure participation of these classes in government jobs and services at all levels, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, all levels. It continued, but in Indira Sahni case in 1992, Supreme Court suddenly said, 9 judges bench, that reservation in promotion is not valid. So it was countered by a constitutional amendment in 1995. Reservation in promotion was granted through constitutional amendment. Then the Supreme Court said, okay, we admit there will be reservation in promotion, but the scheduled caste officers or officials who get promoted as a result of promotion, then he will not be entitled to the seniority according to the promotion. So this was also again countered, and it was through a constitutional amendment, it was made clear that no, there will be reservation in promotion and there will be consequential seniority benefit would also go to the. So this is the history, and rightly so, because if you are talking of inclusive development, if you are talking of inclusive growth, you need to take everybody on board and ensure participation of all classes in all, at least in government services, if not in private services. So this was done, this was necessary, and even today the scheduled caste people are considered untouchables. They are not allowed entry in temples. They are not treated well. Even the government officers who are working in different government organizations and departments, they are also discriminated while granting them annual confidential report. So they face a lot of hardship and discrimination. So this reservation in promotion is a step to ensure participation of these classes in government services.
So the UPA government now says that it is ready to bring an amendment, a constitutional amendment, and it wants that constitutional amendment to be legally sustainable. That's what the government says. There have already been 4 amendments, you just spoke about all of them. And in 2006, the famous M. Nagaraj case, Supreme Court, the apex court has already upheld all the 4 constitutional amendments. So what is the rationale or the reason behind bringing in another constitutional amendment now?
You are right, it's very right that in M. Nagaraj case, Supreme Court upheld the validity of all the constitutional amendment. But they put a condition that this is not a fundamental right. Reservation promotion is not a fundamental right. It is enabling provision. And if the state or the central government, if they want to give benefit of reservation in promotion, then they will have to carry out a detailed study in each case. In each case. How can it be possible? You are asking the members of the scheduled caste to prove that they are still backward. You go anywhere in the villages or in the cities, or in Odisha or in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or UP, you will always find that scheduled caste people are discriminated, even though there is a social discrimination, there is a social and economic disparity among the scheduled caste people and other people. So, to tell them to carry out a detailed study each time that this member of this community are still backward, this is ridiculous. So, we have made a proposal that we should the government should go for constitutional amendment and make it mandatory that so long as the castes are existing under Article 341 for scheduled castes and 342 on the scheduled tribes, so long as the castes are existing, they will continue to have all the benefits of reservation in services, reservation in promotion, reservation in educational institution admission, and they will have the consequential seniority and the 50% bar on total number of the vacancies, and not more than 50% can be granted the reservation. So, for that no question should be asked. No, the government or department should not be asked to carry out a study that they are still backward, that there is adequacy of representation, inadequacy of representation, that the reservation in promotion not going to affect the efficiency of the administration. It is evidently clear. Even Supreme Court under this Indira Sahni case, the 9 judges bench, they had categorically stated that the members of this caste are definitely backward and no questions are asked, no should be asked. If you are talking about, the Supreme Court said, if you are talking about backwardness, it relates to OBC, not the members of the scheduled caste. And no Nagaraj says that this criteria should be made applicable on the members of the scheduled caste also. So, this is wrong. So, the situation created by Nagaraj's case for members of the scheduled caste, and it has made it impossible for the members of the scheduled caste to get promotion through reservation. So, it was necessary that government should go for constitutional amendment and make it comfortable for the members of the scheduled caste.
But there are some opposing views as well on this particular issue. In an all-party meeting recently called by the Prime Minister, wherein all the political parties were present, it was pretty much evident, and Samajwadi Party made it very clear, after the meeting, that their stand is against what the other parties or the major political parties think. They say that giving such kind of reservation will bring in inefficiency in the system, it will upset the system.
This is totally wrong. They are mistaken and don't have the correct picture. Reservation in promotion is given to only on those people who have done well, who have secured good annual confidential report, whose track record has been good. If they get promoted, maybe a year ahead of the regular promotion, then how can this affect the efficiency in administration? So, this is wrong, and it was only Samajwadi Party which opposed the constitutional amendment and provision for reservation in promotion. No other party, every party supported this constitutional amendment. So, even if Samajwadi Party goes against this proposal, we get sufficient numbers to pass this constitutional amendment. And let me also make it very clear, even in Samajwadi Party, the scheduled caste MPs, they still hold the view that they are going to support the constitutional amendment, irrespective of the fact that the Samajwadi Party leadership is opposing this move.
Let's take a short break out here, and when we come back, we'll talk to Mr. PL Punia about what kind of affirmative action needs to be taken to develop or to give more facilities to these underprivileged sections of our society. Welcome back. We have with us Mr. P L Punia, the Chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Castes. Sir, the next question is that there are some arguments given by critics saying that instead of struggling or engaging in a tussle over a share of the pie, our leaders should focus more on increasing the size of the pie itself. Do you think that over the years our successive governments have failed to build that much needed infrastructure, to give those much needed facilities which could have solved this entire problem?
It's not a share in pie. It's a just and justifiable demand on the part of the members of the scheduled caste. In fact, we must go for reservation in promotion and reservation in services, and also go for other affirmative action. In affirmative actions, we should provide them employment, regular employment. We should provide them some business activity and help set them some business. And also the most important thing is the education. The kind of education the members of the scheduled caste or the students from the scheduled caste community they get is pathetic. They normally there are no schools in the villages, and if at all there are schools, there are no teachers. If at all there are teachers, then there are no studies.
That's what the suggestion exactly seems to be from those critics, that instead of
not instead of, we must go for that also. Otherwise the society will remain the same. The structure of the component of the society will remain the same. Like for manual scavengers and safai karmchari, we need to give them the best attention to them and to the children. It's inhuman for us to engage some section of the society in this inhuman task. So we have to think, because there have been schemes have been existing for a very number of years, but the implementation is in the hands of other people who are not interested in the welfare of the scheduled caste. So we need to have a very strict monitoring and ensure that whosoever is failing in his duty, the section 4 of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocity Act should be levied on him. Why he failed in his duties to give benefit to the members of the scheduled caste. This should be made very clear. And once it is done, along with this reservation in services and reservation in promotion, even only then we can expect a parity. Baba Sahib Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar on 26th of November 1949, while adopting the constitution in the Constituent Assembly, he said that we are entering an era of contradiction. On the one hand, we have the political equality. I have the same right, political same right as a businessman or a wealthy person has. But we will continue to have social and economic disparity. So we must strive hard to ensure social and economic disparity. We must remove that disparity and achieve the parity with other section of the society. So this is very important, and efforts taken by successive governments, all the governments I am saying, have not been very encouraging.
That's what exactly the point is, because let me confront you with some figures now. I have with me the figures of Ministry of Human Resource and Development, the HRD ministry, which says that less than a third, that is 29%, to be exact, of the total sanctioned posts for scheduled castes have been filled in central universities. And those reserved for the scheduled tribe category, it has been up to 26%. And if you talk about reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in central government jobs, there have been special recruitment drives. The second special recruitment drive has just come to an end on 31st March 2012. But there's still vacancies to be filled. Does these figures indicate that there is still a lot more which needs to be done on the ground so that people from these communities come up to that particular level where they can avail of this reservation for them?
You are mistaken. There are large number of, empty number of talented people, experienced people available. It's a deliberate denial of opportunity to the members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. This is what I am saying, that this society, in spite of the specific instructions, they deny opportunity to the members of the scheduled caste.
So it's a case of missed opportunities.
It's missed opportunity. People they come to me, and every day I think 10-15 people come to me that they have not been given opportunity. Even the campus interviews, if they know that this fellow is a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe, they don't take him. This is very tragic. And in the interviews, I was talking to Mr. Oscar Fernandez. He said in the Science Institute, he said that how many scheduled castes? He said only one applied. What is his background? He said he is the topper. But why didn't you take him, admit him in the issue? He said he didn't fare well in the interview. So these are the kind of excuses are given for denial of opportunities to the members of the scheduled caste. That is why I am saying that those who fail to discharge their responsibility in providing the opportunity to the members of the scheduled caste, they should be booked under Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act. Section 4 makes a provision for this. Whosoever deliberately denies taking action against the culprits, then the concerned officer should be charged under Section 4 and taken to task.
We'll take a short break again once here, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Mr. P L Punia. Welcome back. Mr. P L Punia is still with us. Sir, you talked about missed opportunities. You talked about steps which needs to be taken. You also very rightly pointed out that successive governments, they might be led by anyone, any political party, have failed to generate that infrastructure. Now, if you look at other countries, the countries neighboring us, or countries in Europe, in America, there the focus seems to be more and more and more on affirmative action. When it comes to affirmative action, what do you suggest as chairman of the National Commission for Scheduled Caste can be the tenable path out here to ensure that there is a permanent solution in the long run for this issue?
You see, everywhere there is a reservation. Even in America, for non-whites there is a reservation. There is reservation even in national awards. There is reservation everywhere, in educational institutions, in the employment, even in private sector. The majority of them organizations are in private sector. They also makes a provision. Or here, people in private sector, they said that we are not going to make a compromise on efficiency, and we will not grant reservation. Would you believe it that only 6 to 7% representation of scheduled caste is there in private sector? It's very very saddening. And if we talk of the affirmative action, then employment and education. Employment and education, that is the key. We must provide all facilities, hostel facilities, convent-like education to all the members of the society, giving preference to the manual scavenging and the scavengers and Safai Karmchari, and make provision for education and employment. We must make them, we must allot them the good shops in the main shopping centers. Instead of giving them 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees, and we take satisfaction that we have helped them, is not going to help them. It is not a sustainable employment. Sustainable employment will be that at least 10,000 or 15,000 rupees per month he earns out of that business. So, this is very important, and the reservation is one of them, education is another, and the employment not only in the government services, but in the private sector, in their own business, the government must come out and help them. There is a provision for special component plan, which was started in 1979 by Madam Indira Gandhi, and it was made provision that out of the total plan outlay, the up to the percentage of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, the funds would be earmarked for funding schemes which directly benefit these members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. But what has happened? The money is not being spent on scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Money is being spent on construction of road, construction of highways, construction of medical college, construction of and publicity of HIV AIDS, beautification of lake and dam. So, this is not direct, this is not going to benefit directly the members of the scheduled caste. So, what I said earlier, that the schemes were there, but the actual benefit has not gone to the members of the scheduled
implementation
caste.
Part
implementation has been very faulty, and deliberate attempt on the part of the functionaries, the government functionaries, to deny opportunity to the members of the scheduled caste.
So let me ask you one question, with regards to the political criticism of this particular entire issue. During your tenure as an IAS officer, you served as Principal Secretary to the then Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Mayawati. And in the recent past, both you and the BSP Chief have been raising this particular issue on the floor of the House. Now the question is that, is this a mere coincidence, or is there some understanding political understanding between BSP and your own party, the Congress?
No, we are a national party and we function independently. We take decision independently. So, there is absolutely no question of the Congress party being guided by BSP or BSP being guided by Congress party. There is absolutely, maybe you have seen some coincidence, but I don't see even in coincidence. We function independently. In fact, we staged a dharna in front of Mahatma Gandhi statue on 8th, the opening day of the session, and in front of Baba Saheb Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's statue on 9th of August. And 9th of August itself, I raised this issue in the Parliament along with Mr. Shailendra Kumar of Samajwadi Party, and Mayawati raised this in Rajya Sabha. And you see it a coincidence, but it was urgent. We had taken a decision to raise this issue on 9th itself, and we raised it on 9th. If they came to know of our move and Mayawati raised it in Rajya Sabha, it is, you can ask them.
So, sir, once again, how confident you are, because apart from being the chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Caste, you're also a member of Congress party, you're also a member of Parliament as a Congress party leader in Lok Sabha. How confident you are that the government headed by or led by Congress, that is the UPA government, will be able to bring this constitutional amendment, and how soon can it happen?
Prime Minister has already declared that we are committed to give all the benefits to the members of the scheduled caste. And they have also decided to introduce a constitutional amendment during this session of the Parliament. And once this amendment bill is moved, and is definitely going to be passed on the same day, after discussion and after the leaders of all the parties have expressed their views, then there will be voting and we will win hands down. Even the members of the Samajwadi Party who belong to scheduled caste, they will vote in favor of the this constitution amendment.
So one last question. You've been on both sides of the governance. In your first part of your career, you were a bureaucrat. In the later part, now you're an MP. You're also chairman of a commission, a cabinet rank level post. Now, how do you see both sides playing out? Because there are, sometimes arguments that it's bureaucracy which rules the roost. It's not the other side, that's the legislative.
You see, there are set roles for politicians, there are set roles for the bureaucrats. While in bureaucracy, one has to be guided by those rules. And in politics, you know the rules of the politics. You can't play football with the rules of the cricket. So there has to be difference, and both are very important. Both are important and both are crucial or complementary to each other. They are not contradictory to each other, they are complementary to each other, and both are very important, and there is no dichotomy or no contradiction. I don't see any contradiction in that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time and being on Rajya Sabha TV.
Thank you.
So this was Mr. PL Punia. Next week, we'll come back with a different personality at same time. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.